Welcome to the Clear in the Air podcast with D and Q.
I'm D.
And I'm Q. Hey man, let's air it out. Recent.
There you go again.
What?
My brother, it's good to see you, King. Like, what's up? It's good when we get together, break bread. Stop trying to dive in all the time, bruh. What's up?
Listen, I love this brother, right? The thing is, because I don't see him as often as I would like to, so we could do this for you guys together, I just dive in and get to the business, right? So let's dive in and get to the business.
Now we can dive in.
So, Ja Morant. A lot of conversation about him as of late. A lot of things that we're not necessarily, or the world or the NBA is not necessarily proud of talking about, but we have to, all right? I've got a question that I would like to ask, but for those who might not know who Ja Morant is, okay, or might not know why he's in the news lately, we're going to let my brother break it down as he so eloquently does, and providing the facts. Talk to us. Why are we talking about Ja Morant?
Okay, so Ja Morant, star point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies. South Carolina born kid, born and raised, I believe. Went to Murray State, which is a mid-major. Got drafted by Memphis. I want to say this past offseason signed a $195 million contract extension, right around 200. He's also Nike's latest signature athlete and just released his own brand of basketball shoes. He is, if not the young face of the league, he's definitely one of them. He's one of the most exciting young players in the league. Two-time All-Star. Life is really good for Ja Morant right now. He literally is living a dream. Well, I want to say a couple weeks ago, they were on the road in Denver, and they had lost to the Nuggets. And there was some footage that came out on IG Live around 4 or 5 in the morning. He was at a club and he flashed a gun on IG Live. So, you know, once social media gets it, it was all over the internet, all over the news. It was breaking news all over for the rest of that weekend. Because he was in Colorado, their police had to do their own, whatever, for the case or whatever. And he was found to not have broken any laws. But it was a bad look for his team. It's a bad look for him, bad look for the league, bad look for his brand, bad look for the young kids that kind of look up to him, whether right or wrong, So he was suspended 8 games, and he's currently right now in Florida at a treatment facility. So that's where we're at right now.
Very unfortunate. Some stuff we'll get into a little bit later, but I don't want to ask the question so early before we kind of really dive into a little bit more. Let's talk more about the Memphis Grizzlies as a whole.
I know. I feel the same way.
Let's start with the good. Ja Morant has built, or should I say, the Grizzlies have built a great surrounding team for him. He's their franchise player. That's why he got the contract that he did. And they have been a team to talk about because they have been in the playoffs past 2 years. Okay. They normally make the playoffs. They just normally kind of be like a lower seed. Them Zach Randolph days. They used to give the Spurs fits, and they call grind city because Memphis is real blue collar and they grind it out. So they've never been a threat, but they always generally make the playoffs. But now they have this bright young star and they have a great team around him, and they can do some things. That's what you're trying to say. Yeah, and there's been some gaps in what he's saying, but
yes, it has been.
But basically, yes.
the next part of this is
Also, it's good because they're a small market team.
yes.
And so they've been able to build a contending team
Yes.
in a small market, not necessarily have a super team or be in a huge market.
Yeah.
So it is a good look for the league that they are successful.
It is. The part that is frustrating is you see players recently, Dylan Brooks getting into it with Draymond. You see a lot of the chirpiness. I'm sorry. You had Bane getting into it with LeBron. LeBron felt disrespected and told him about it. Like, this is the last time you're gonna disrespect me, dog. Like, and he went into some other things, and all right. The chirpiness,
The Shannon Sharp incident.
the Shannon, oh,
Which
y'all
we
saw,
talked
and
about.
please, if you haven't, go back and look at that episode.
Right.
The thing is, it begins to be, and Dylan Brooks just kind of being in the discussion as being a dirty player. Okay.
He's that irritant. He does the dirty work. He takes pride in his defense, but now he's starting to talk a lot. Now he's starting to.
It goes a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Because when you actually see some of the plays, it's like, come on, dog, you took it too far and you knew what you was doing. But my point of what I'm saying is this: I don't mind the chirpiness when you have done something. You ain't got to the point to where y'all have done anything besides consistently be in the playoffs, as being said, but you ain't won nothing yet. You haven't, watch this, you haven't won a Western Conference Finals to get you to playing for an NBA championship.
Because remember, they good in the West. Right?
Earlier, they were number 2 in the West.
Uh-huh.
They were that high. Okay, so you enjoy the, you're not gonna punk us because we're a young team. You enjoy that idea of having great defense and that being kind of a big part of your play. You enjoy that part. But I need you to kind of calm down a little bit. And that's where it gets to be frustrating, because you say, where could the ceiling be for them if they become focused? And I think that is a thing to talk about, because sometimes when you see success, right, you can allow it to get to your head and you get a little bit above your britches, and now you're not as focused as you used to be. And now we start to see the string of things that are happening. Then adding what is inevitable in sports: injuries. Steven Adams.
Brandon Clark. Done for the year.
Big time contributors to your team are no longer there, and yet you're being chippy, like as if that is not a thing. So you begin to wonder, what is their ceiling? Okay, Ja Morant, like you say, I think he's 6 games into the 8 suspended. Okay, so he'll be back soon. All right. But now you've taken such a tumble, and the West is so tight.
Literally, it's like 2 games separate
16,
6 through
6
13,
through-
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, 5.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I would say maybe 4.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, I think 1, 2, and 3. Denver, Memphis, and Sacramento. Sacramento's crazy.
Sacramento's.
Yeah.
And then the Suns.
Then the Sun.
And
Then
it's
I
a
think
whole
after
other-
that,
Then it's the
Clippers and
Golden
everybody.
State.
Clippers,
Clippers
Golden
and Golden
State.
State, who played a couple nights ago, and then it's like, so you kind of got to pipe down a bit. So that's the Memphis kind of story.
Right.
Going back to the incident that happened with Shannon Sharp and who else? Dylan Brooks. Stephen A. said some things, and I'm going to let you talk to us about that. Stephen A. said some things that I think now just kind of shifting back to Ja. And you have to understand, I'm going to say this. He's a young star. Okay? Which is perfect for what we're getting ready to lead into. Young stars need guidance because there's a lot on their shoulder. Okay? that being said, talk to us about what Stephen A. said in the direction that he went.
So Stephen A. came. I thought he made an excellent point. You know, sometimes we agree with Stephen A. Sometimes we don't. Right? But this point he made about Ja Morant's father, I thought was spot on. If you don't know Ja Morant's father, T. Morant, I think T is about 45, 46. So he's a young father. I think he had Ja when he was young. And so, you know, put the ball in Ja's hand when he was early, had him working out, you know. And now T, as he should, he's enjoying the fruits of his labor, or his son's labor. So, you know, he's enjoying sitting courtside, seeing the sun. But I think he does a little too much. I think he ingratiates himself in the game too much. I think he's trying to be Usher's twin brother more than he's trying to be Ja Morant's dad. And again, you know, you trained your child, you helped them succeed, and so you should enjoy that. But I just think he's doing a bit much. Yeah. But the point Stephen A. said was, T. Morant, you need to be a dad. Stop trying to be your son's friend. You need to be a dad. And when I see them, that's what I think. I feel like T. Morant think he's one of Ja's boys,
yeah,
rather than being his dad. And I'm so glad that Stephen A. brought that point out.
Yeah.
You know, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I look at Cat's dad, Karl Anthony Towns' dad. Again, since front row, but he looks like a dad. He acts like a dad. He don't be
like you one of the crowd.
Yeah. Like he just, you know he's Cat's dad because he goes up to him after the game. But if not, we would have never known that was Cat's dad. You know what I mean? And then even when Cat and Ja play, you know, they dads get together and they talk and blah, blah, blah. But that's the only time I see Cat's dad. You know what I mean? And so I think this is a great opportunity for T. Morant to step up and be that dad and say, son, you know, you're going down a path right now that's not good. We've worked all this hard for you to get to this point. We don't want you to throw it away overnight because it could take years to get in a split second to lose it.
Yeah. He's got so many great things going for himself. Mm-hmm. A father is never going to not be a father. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it's about a voice. What if shout out to T. Morant, by the way.
Of course.
Let's say that. Because a lot of times when people say things, we say things, and yes, everybody does have an opinion. It's always taken that you're being judgmental or you're you know best, or you're speaking from that mindset. No, I'm a father. I had 3 boys. And if there was something that someone could say to me that could help save my boys, I want to hear it. Okay, they say it takes a village to raise children. It's not just a cliche thing. It is true. And so, you know, I think, because probably no one else could speak to Ja or get to Ja like T could. And that should be what the role of a father is. So in saying that, T, be that dad your son needs. Be the dad that you were that got him where he is. Watch this. Be the dad that's going to keep him where he is. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you know, we feel like, well, he's a young man. I'm going to let him live his life. You can still let your child live his life and you still speak the things you need to speak.
Mm-hmm. And let him know when he's messing up.
And then step back, because at the end of the day, he is grown.
Right.
But I do believe that us as fathers, we have a voice that will echo in the ears of our children when they know they are veering off the path. Raise a child in the way that you should. Therefore, when he becomes an adult or gets older, he shall not soon depart from it. All right.
And another thing about that, think about the average child when they grow up and they learn things. Mm-hmm. Now, magnify that times 1 million or 195 million because, you know, you come from, and there was this notion out there that Ja was brought up in the hood, and so now that he's made it, he's trying to come back. He's not.
He grew up from the country. He was never hood. He grew up in a 2-parent household with his sister. His parents did an excellent job of raising him. He was never a thug. He was never from the hood. So my point to that is, when you make it, you know, you go from, I won't say whatever, maybe middle class or whatever, and now all of a sudden you have millions. Everything intensifies. Everything just, you know. So I'm sure his dad is learning some things now, because now he has an endless supply of money and an endless supply of opportunities, and now he's getting that limelight that he never had before.
And you think about it like this. You figure, let me enjoy some of the fruits of my labor.
Correct.
I helped you get here, but it ain't over yet.
Yeah.
What do you say? More money, more problems.
Yep.
Lloyd Banks said, you work hard for money, but it's harder when you get it, because it's maintaining it. It's maintaining it. I think anyone could be successful, but it's something to be said when you can carry that success and duplicate it over and over and over and over. I like that you went there, because there are a lot of narratives, let's just be honest, with African American males, especially when they're young, and we don't want to...
And African American fathers.
And so you don't want to take away some things. So I'm glad that you went there, but there's still more work to be done.
Yes.
Now, what I do like is that what we can call an OG in Jalen Rose, somebody who's been there, okay, got a chance to interview Ja Morant.
After he gave that soliloquy about, I am Ja Morant. I was Ja Morant. I was the one who went from nothing to something. And Jalen actually grew up in the hood. You know what I mean? He grew up with drug raids and, you know what I mean, stuff like that. You know, and we talked about that with the Fab Five era and the stuff they went through, and then, you know, in college and all that stuff. So he actually went through that, and I loved what Jalen said. And I think that's why he got the opportunity to interview Ja.
Yeah, I think that's why. I don't think you could have chose a better person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think they would have allowed access to him
if it wasn't
Jalen Rose. Because I'm in Florida, I'm in a treatment center, I don't really want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But the fact that Jalen Rose said that, we're like, all right, if I talk to anybody, it's gonna be the big homie.
The OG.
That was super dope. That was super dope.
This is the village we're talking about.
Yes.
It's the village we're talking about. So there were a few things that stood out in the interview. Number one, Ja, prior to the interview, had already apologized. He apologized to his team, his family, and to those that look up to him. So when we clear the air, which is just in a second, I'm going to ask a question for us to think about, right? But what stood out to me was, he said it wasn't his gun. That stands out big time, okay? I think you could sense that he was more than apologetic. Like, he realizes where he is. What is Nike gonna do? Are they gonna still back you? See how they did Kyrie?
But they dropped a statement saying they would. They released a statement saying they would.
Okay. You think of all the other deals that he, I believe, has lost.
I think he lost Powerade. And then
it was one more.
Yeah, it might have been
there was one more.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he lost Powerade.
And see, we're not trying to lose anything. We don't need to lose anything. I tell you what he could lose before we clear the air. This is for all young men. If the crew around you is not helping to keep you where you are, lose them.
Yeah.
Before you lose everything, lose them. Forget this keeping it real and you know, I'm not a sucker and I'm a day one, and forget all of that.
And I'm loyal and
Be loyal to yourself first before you talk about being loyal to other people who, again, didn't get you where you are and won't keep you where you are.
because if they was your crew, they would do whatever to maintain the spot that you worked so hard to get.
Because you are the one with the endorsements,
Yeah.
with the deals.
Yeah.
So we have to be smart. So, as we clear the air, I want to ask this question.
Can I say one point?
Please.
One point that I don't want to overlook, because we talked about his dad. I also want to say this. There were other allegations in which his mom got into it with someone at the mall and she called him and he had to come down there. And his sister, I guess, got into it during the volleyball match. And so he came down there to do that. These are allegations. Some of it's true. Some of it's true because there were reports that were made. Why are you putting your multi-millionaire son and brother in that position? Why are you not calling, I don't know, are they still married? Anyway, why are you not calling T. Morant? Why are you not calling your dad? Why are you calling the person that has so much to lose to come and diffuse a situation? Why you ain't calling none of the crew? You know what I mean? Why are you calling Ja Morant? I just think a lot of the stuff, the allegations, they just were mishandled. And I just feel like, what are we thinking?
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
Yeah.
It's just you're putting him in positions to fail.
Yeah.
And I'm not absolving him of it.
No.
Because a lot of the majority of this, he is to blame.
Yeah.
But you're also not putting him in helpful, beneficial positions.
Yeah. I think it was either Stephen A. or Will Bond that said, you know, some of the things we're saying, but also said, I think it was Shaq, I'm sorry, who said he hit the record button. He went on Instagram Live. And it's very true. Let's clear the air, right? Here's the question. Actually, a few questions. Is Ja Morant a role model? That's one question. The other question is Ja Morant's legacy stained? I think he's a role model. Let me say this, Bob. I think Charles Barkley said it back in the day. I'm not a role model. Yada yada yada. It was a whole commercial. I think that was based
Your parents should be your role model.
Exactly. Let me say this to you. You don't get to determine whether you are or you aren't.
Correct.
Because you could legitimately be the person that an individual looks up to and therefore tags you as that, whether they call you that or not. If your actions influence an individual in such a way that they do what you do, buy your shoes, buy your jerseys,
watch you on TV several times a week, buy tickets to watch you perform.
I'm just getting ready to say that. Okay? You're probably a role model. And I like the fact that Ja Morant acknowledged that. He acknowledged in his statement, he apologized to the kids that and even adults in the interview that look up to him. Okay? You are a role model, bro. And I'm grateful, shouting you out that you do realize that. The other thing is this. Is his legacy stained? I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say this. You have to be careful because sometimes you get labeled for your worst mistakes. And sometimes, especially if you don't give someone something else to think about, more recent, it can be. In other words, get back in the game, lose what you need to lose, or lose the people you need to lose. Let me see a Western Conference final appearance in the next 5 years. Let me see you get to the NBA Finals, and then let me see you win one. Then all the chirping that happens, we can say, oh shoot, we got a reason to see him chirp. He got something to chirp about.
Right.
That's what we want to see. We want, watch this. Some people want to see you fail, Ja. We don't want to see you fail.
The majority of us want you to succeed, bro.
That's it. We talking directly to you, homie.
But we want your play to do the talking, and
Yeah.
that's just the whole team. But besides the basketball part, do I think his legacy is staying? It's dependent on what he does
Next.
moving forward.
Yep. And that's always what it's about.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna make mistakes.
Nobody's perfect. We all have. It depends on what you do from this moment on moving forward. And you've already made the first step.
Yeah.
You know, you came out with the apology. He's getting help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which again, shout out to you
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
Because there's people who sit there and allow ego.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm good. And then you go out, and then that could be where your legacy is stained. Because now it's so much pressure. That's the other thing. We don't realize also the pressure that it is. Yo, he's 23 years
That's what
old.
he said.
How much pressure is that to beat the LeBrons, to beat the Kawhis, to beat the Stephs, and to do it not just one time, because you know, you do it one time, people forget. So listen, bro, and to all the young men out there, you got, especially when you reach a level of success, you've got to do whatever you can do to maximize the chances to do it all again. And we are rooting for you, bro. Go out there and show them what you could do on and off the court.
Actually, it starts off the court because you got to get yourself back on track.
Yep.
And then you can focus on the basketball part. And so you've already started that. And the basketball part is probably going to be the easiest part because you can hoop.
And you've been doing it.
Yeah. That's the natural part, right? Because you a beast on that court. You know what I mean? So,
Lastly, T, get your son, man. Get your son. Give him what you've been giving him all his life. Help him weed out those people and those things that he does not need. He's got all the money that he can spend, right?
for lifetimes.
But he needs his daddy's words to guide him so that he doesn't lose another thing. Yo, all that being said and done, we've cleared the air. Again, we want to ask for that video experience. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Don't be someone who just peeps the content, the shorts, all of that stuff, and you don't subscribe. Help us out. You know what it does for the algorithm. Also, audio experience. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and
Twitter.
Again, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Follow us for more content. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.